learning about Junior Dragsters. My name is Bill. If you haven't learned about it yet, go ahead and check us out at Junior Dragster Plus. That'll be, I'll add a link at the bottom of this video here. And my username on the board is Wild Bill. Go ahead, ask it all the questions you want. There are no silly questions, just, we've heard it all before and we've all been there before. So go ahead, give us a shout out and check us out, and we'll all be more than happy to help you. Now, on to the video. Hey, welcome back to another Learning Junior Dragsters video. My name is Bill. This video we're going to talk about the wiring on the Junior Dragster, how to wire up the toggle switches, the coil, and the micron. I'm going to try and give you as best description as I can. I've got some decorative wire loom over the wires that's all zip tied. You should be able to see all the ends and the colors of the wires and where they go even through, even though the wire loom is on there. So let's get at it. Alright, I got you zoomed in here so you can try and get a better view of what we got going on here. First thing I want to point out is I like using these long handle toggle switches. These come from Summit Racing. I've got them in both my cars in both positions, both in the cockpit and on the firewall. As a matter of fact, I've even got them in my big car. It's a whole lot easier to hit than your standard toggle switch, which has maybe, what is that, 3/4 of an inch long. You can see just how much longer this long handle toggle switch is and how much easier it is to just slap your hand down and not have to worry about where the switch is. You got a whole lot more toggle out there to get a hold of, and it's a lot easier, at least in my opinion. So that's why I use those. And alright, now that we've got you zoomed in, I think as close as I can get you here, you can see these switches also have a screw-on terminal, so that way your connectors don't come out, they don't accidentally fall off. I think that's actually a requirement for the NHRA. I'm not sure about that. Peel back a little bit of the wire loom here. You can see I use red for the hot, and the hot I'm calling anything that is connected to the coil, and black for the ground side. One thing of note, when the switch is in the up or quote-unquote on position for the car, the switch is actually showing zero continuity, which means it's actually off. Because what you're doing when you actually turn the car, hit the switch to turn the car off, you're closing the circuit, providing a ground path from the coil straight to ground, bypassing the spark plug. And I've got my meter here, see if I can't show you, if I can get the meter to pick up here. Hit the black there. Alright, now we got our meter leads hooked up. Let's see if I can't pop that one off. Trying to get the meter to where you guys can actually see it on the camera. Alright. As you can see, the switch is in the up or the on position, and the meter is reading OL on this meter. That means, out of limit or open. And when we go to, so this would be the on position for the car, but the off position for the switch. It's backwards, I know. But when you go to turn the car off, you can see you actually create continuity between the switch that sends the spark from the coil, instead of going through the spark plug, sends the spark from the coil right to the ground. Alright, here we're down at my terminal block. I hope you guys can see in there pretty good. What we have is a 8-position terminal block. You see we have 2 red wires. Those are the 2 wires coming from both the kill switches. They're going to these 2. And these 2 ports are actually jumped together, as are the ground side. I don't think you can see the jumper that's in there, but everything on this side is coming off of the coil, and so this is called the hot side, or what I call the hot side, and this is the ground side. On the ground side, you'll have connected a ground going to your engine block, and then the ground lead coming from each of your toggle switches, and those need to be independent. You can't just go ahead and take a separate wire and go from each toggle switch right to here. Don't try and splice the 2 wires together. Same with your the red wires, the hot wires. Those are 2 individual wires coming from each toggle switch. And over here, like I said, this is the ground wire, and that's coming all the way over to right here on the motor plate, and that's creating the ground circuit. And the only other 2 wires that you need to hook up are, let's see if you can see if I can shine a light up here on the back of the micron. See this wire here that's looped through the back port? That is your tack signal wire. That needs to come all the way down to, that's coming right down here into the hot side of our terminal switch. That's this wire right here. And then this wire here, that is our feed coming off the coil. And that comes off of a small metal pin on the back side of the coil. If I can get in here and I unsoldered all this so you could, this should be a permanent connection. And you see that small little pin there on the back side of the connector? That's your hot feed for that terminal block, and that's what's going to actually send the spark. Instead of going through the spark plug, that's going to send the spark through your kill switch when you activate your kill switches, and actually send the spark down right to ground. Alright, and there we have a quick down and dirty overview of how the wiring and the toggle switches and terminal block are all laid out, as well as connecting it up to the micron and the coil. I hope you guys found this video helpful and useful. One other thing I wanted to point out, that if you're going to use a meter to try and test your toggle switches and make sure everything's wired up properly, make sure your coil is disconnected from the circuit, because even when it's off, it is going to have some resistance going through it, and you could get a false reading. So make sure that wire is disconnected from the coil when you're doing your multimeter testing. And until next time, have fun out there.